Hey everyone, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Skylar Hamilton here. One of my favorite things to actually fish, as far as structure you could say, is seawalls. They're really overlooked. They work really well during the shad spawn and brim spawn on them, bass spawn on them. They're highly used. I mean, it's just a wall in the water that the fish, they can't go any further, so they're pretty high percentage areas. And a lot of times you'll have seawalls like this that have grass growing up against them, and one of my favorite baits to throw on seawalls, because the strike zone is pretty slim. You don't have very much, you've got a few feet off the seawall and then that's it, is a topwater frog. And I really like throwing any sort of topwater, but a popping frog just like this, it works great. When there's a lot of brim around or the shad are spawning, you can change it up to a white one. And then if you have a few lingering bass, late spring, early summer, a few lingering bass spawning up against them, the frog will catch them. It just really imitates something that may have fallen off the wall, or maybe a brim that's gotten pushed up against the wall. It just, frogs are a really good bait for that. And then another one that I like to throw if I'm really just going down the bank paralleling them is a buzz bait. Maybe there's not as much grass, or maybe the grass is kind of scattered. I'll just sling this down the bank and parallel it. You can tune the blade. You can have a couple of them. Tune one to the right, one to the left, depending on which way you're going. Make it hit up right against the wall. If the shad are spawning, that's a pretty big deal with the buzz bait. And then the last thing that I'll really throw is I got this big square bill here. You can adjust your size, 1.5, 2.5, this is a 4.0. If you're around a lot of big fish, I'll throw this one. Just parallel them just like you would with the buzz bait, except you're cranking. Maybe it's later in the day, topwater bites died off, those fish are still around the seawalls. Maybe you have a full-blown shad spawn and they really want a crankbait. You want a high percentage bait to get them in the boat. Square bill works good to flex off the bottom of the seawalls. A lot of times they'll have rock at the base of them to kind of protect them. Seawalls are great in general. They've got a lot of stuff going for them. Great targets, late spring, early summer. It's something I always look for.